Hello and welcome, friends. This is Sarah and Cam coming to you, and today we want to drop a video where we are discussing some of the things that we implement into our businesses as well as our clients' businesses and our work. So as I already said, I'm Cam. This is Sarah over here. Sarah, you want to introduce yourself? Tell them what you do.
Yeah, I'm Sarah. My business is called Ink and Olive, and we do mostly social media management and consultation. And we actually have our first digital course coming out soon called the Instagram Roadmap for Real Estate Agents.
Super cool, super cool. When is that coming out?
Well, it's going to be first released next month, so in May, to a group of 10 realtors who are going to get the course for 50% off.
Wow,
so in exchange for some feedback to help me make it even better.
Okay.
So if anyone wants to be one of those first 10 agents, just DM me on Instagram and we'll get you the code.
Okay. Very cool. Let's hop into our first topic for this video, which is we want to talk about what types of content there are. So that goes over pretty much everything, like long form content, short form content, just dividing that stuff up and how each specific form of content is useful in certain places. There
are loads of different types of content that you can share across social media depending on the platform. So you have still videos, you even have carousel posts on Instagram, which can be a compilation of photos and videos.
Cool.
And then you have different types of short and long form video. So you're the video master if you want to go into more detail about the different types of video.
Okay, cool. So Sarah kind of touched, briefly on like the different genres of it. We're gonna start kind of from short form video and just work our way forward in general terms to like longer form videos and how those are useful. So for short form videos, a lot of times those are useful for things like promotional content or for, highlight reels, things that are supposed to be quick, catchy, engaging with your audience, and that are meant to try and capture people's attention. And a lot of times it's surprising, but companies and other people who are trying to brand themselves tend to miss this stuff because they're so focused on doing the job that they're supposed to provide to their clients. These are super, super important to keep in mind in terms of saying, hey, like, I know that I have these services and I know that I have services that my clients need, but how am I going to tell them about my services? How am I going to communicate to them what it is that I do and how it's valuable for them? So again, the highlight reels or the promo content, those short form pieces of video that are informational and quick and catchy and engaging, those things are super important for being able to catch that client's attention because they're busy in their lives too. So you got to try and connect with them in some way and be able to communicate that message over to them.
And I'm sure we'll get into this more talking about longer form videos, but that short form video can be created in a multitude of ways. So you can be super intentional and just record a short like vertical reel, for example, for Instagram or Instagram stories.
Right.
So you can create them on their own, or they can be snippets of longer form video. So repurposing content is really important for working smart.
Definitely, definitely. So that's kind of a brief overview of short form video. Let's hop into medium length video. And by medium length, I guess I'll kind of give this like a time frame by saying medium is what would you say, like 30 to maybe a minute 30 or so?
I think we can break it down like based on usage. I know we're going to talk about this more in a later video, but if we think about like the short quippy videos as like Instagram reels, Instagram stories, then that kind of medium length video would probably be like 1 minute to 2 minutes, since reels can be up to a minute long.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good time frame. I feel like that gives a solid gist of what to expect when we're addressing medium format videos. So yeah, with medium format videos, you have a little bit more room to work with, in terms of delivering your message, in terms of communicating what it is that you want to say to the client. So really with the medium format videos, these are your chance to communicate to the people that you've gotten the attention of with your promo content. So, I mean, let's give an example. Let's say Sarah has a reel that she puts out on social media and the reel is, a minute long. But before that reel, all the week before, she's been blasting short little 15-second or 25-second promos of, her realtor course that she's going to be dropping and little snippets of pieces that are important in there specifically for those realtors. Now, this following week, when Sarah decides to drop that reel at a minute or 2 minutes long, however it may be, she can include a little bit more information to try and gather that client's attention and really say, oh, okay, like, you know, I saw what she was saying in the promos, and this is really useful in terms of utilizing that, you know, material in there.
That's a really great point in thinking about length of video in terms of like where people are throughout the funnel of like just hearing about your brand, your services, and like becoming interested, needing your services.
Right. Yeah.
So as people just start to get to know you, that short form video is really important to hook their attention.
Seriously.
And then that medium length video shares a little bit more detail. They're already thinking, okay, this is probably something that I could use. And then you're sharing a little bit more information.
Exactly. So we've gone over very quickly short form video. We've gone over how you can use short form video to, I guess for lack of a better word, kind of like start the conversation with, you know, potential clients and other people who are in that network. And then we've gone over medium format video in terms of once that conversation is started or once their attention has been captured, how you can get a little bit more in terms of offering them some more information, shedding some more light on, you know, whatever it is that you're trying to tell them or communicate to them, and really, you know, kind of connect with them better there. So now we've kind of gone over those first two steps. Let's hop into long form video. So long form video is like, I guess, the third step in the funnel, and it really is like, this is gold. Any long form video, once you get a client to a long form video, this is super, super important in being able to have a strong, solid video in this category. Most of the time, these videos are gonna live on like a website or a YouTube, some type of homepage or something like that. And the reason being is because this is your hub. You want a long form video or long form videos sitting in, you know, your home base, so to speak. In long form videos, there's so much content that you can discuss, so many different categories that you can kind of put these things into. You can have testimonials, you can have brand message videos, you can have how-to videos, you can have recruitment videos. I mean, the list goes on and on. I'm sure you've had some experience.
The first thing that you made me think of, speaking of long-term video and where people are, or I'm sorry, long-form video and where people are in terms of the funnel, is something like a webinar.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
a
That's
webinar teaches like that core information, and maybe the webinar, like, it's still probably not going to be your product, but it's that last step before someone becomes a customer. As they watch that webinar, you're giving them all this free value, and that's like the last part of the funnel before they actually become a customer. Exactly.
And I mean, that's hitting the nail on the head right there. Like I mentioned earlier, there's so many different forms of long form video. And the thing is, that's kind of cool with long form video, depending on the purpose of that video, there isn't really a specified length. Typically, you're going to look at long form video, I guess in a general sense of what, like 3 to 5 minutes or so, maybe a little bit longer, but something like a webinar may be like 30 minutes or something. And that's perfectly okay. You know, if the purpose of the webinar is to go over, you know, X amount of materials or something. So with long form video, there is quite a bit of flexibility in terms of the delivery and in terms of the value that I can provide for you or for your clients.
Absolutely. And just building off of that, I think the length is going to depend on the purpose. Like, what is the goal of the video? Are you teaching a webinar? Is it to get people over to your website, teaching more about your products and services? Is it an informational branding video? So the purpose of the video is going to determine its length and what platform it's going to be on.
Exactly. I think that's pretty well said. So that in a nutshell kind of goes over the 3 basic forms of video content. I have 2 points that I want to kind of go into, but we'll go like in chronological order. So earlier you touched on things like carousels and things that were not necessarily video. Do you want to shed a little bit more light on that?
Instagram was built off of sharing still photos. So you have your still photo, you have a single video. So Instagram recently announced that they're combining all of their different video features aside from Reels. So video, IGTV, that's all just now Instagram video. And that is going to be any video. I mean, I think it can be over a minute long now that everything is combined.
Okay.
So still photo, Instagram video or Instagram Reels, which can be a combination of up to 10 photos and or videos.
Okay.
And then you have Instagram Reels, which is the latest kind of feature that Instagram is prioritizing. And that's up to 60 seconds and it's vertical video. So anytime you're doing video on Instagram, you want it to be vertical. And then you have your Instagram stories and Instagram story highlights.
Cool. Yeah, no. And I liked something, so you said something in there that like caught my attention that I think is important to highlight for people, because anyone who's not like a videographer or photographer or anyone who's new to like social media space, like I feel like it's natural to take things very literal, like as in like, oh, a reel is a vertical video, so I'm going to shoot a vertical video, or, you know, this is the place for a still photo, so I'm going to put just a still photo. As Sarah kind of mentioned earlier, you can actually make reels with like slideshows of pictures in there and stuff like that. You can do carousels, so you can turn a single photo into a multiple photo swiping thing, which I believe does like boost your engagement and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, so carousels have proven to be really good for reach and engagement because, again, you have up to 10 slides to capture people's attention, and not every single follower is going to see every single post. So if someone scrolls on past the first image in a carousel post, well, they might still be served the second, third, fourth. So the longer your carousel post, the more chances your followers have of seeing that content and engaging with it.
See, Jules, this is why she's here, man. Sarah is an expert in this field. She is constantly researching new tips, tricks, the latest trends, all that different stuff to stay on top of social media and stay on top of her marketing game. So definitely super thankful to have her here and sharing some of that information with us. The next thing that I wanted to hop into, so I know in particular, Sarah, you do a lot of short form videos, a lot of reels. You do it for yourself, you do it for your clients and stuff like that. Can you talk to me about how you approach making your short form content and how it is useful for you and your clients?
Yeah, absolutely. To be totally honest, I think I am more intentional with my clients' work. And as a business owner, I'm sure you find yourself in the same situation where,
definitely.
Of course, the first thing you're going to do, you're going to put the work in for your clients because that's how you get paid, right?
Right, exactly.
So
trying to put it in for myself more, but it's definitely always like service, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have a content planning calendar that I fill out for myself and each of my clients, in which I kind of map out my content for the following month in advance. And then I go through the topics and determine, okay, well, is this post going to be best served as an image, as a carousel, as a reel? And I kind of plan that out ahead of time.
Okay.
For myself, to be honest, I don't go through the full process. I just kind of scroll through, find the trending sounds, record a bunch of reels at once. And then as I'm batching my reels, I don't even necessarily know how I'm going to use them yet. I just want all that like content recorded.
Flying by the seat of the pants. Okay, I got you.
But honestly, like it works out because, well, when I hear the sound, I'm like, okay, this is how I could use it. Like I have something in mind, but I don't have all the copy and everything planned out yet. So I save trending sounds, batch my reels, record 7 to 10 at once, and then Reels are the one piece of Instagram content that still cannot be scheduled to publish in advance, but we do have the option to create drafts within the Instagram app so that you can just go in and publish them when you're ready. So I try to create a bunch in my drafts so that when I'm ready to publish, they're just ready to go.
Okay, cool. So it sounds like you do a lot of preparation, I guess, like some background prep in terms of like batch creating everything, making sure you've got like a decent like amount to choose from, and then when you're ready, you pull from those drafts and you kind of put them onto the feed as you need them or as they're planned out, right?
Yeah, and I guess that could have been very confusing, but my processes for myself and for my clients are very different because with my clients, I can only use like what they give me. So I have to plan to know like, okay, well, they're going to be showing this property on this day. So I can request that they record a bunch of vertical videos, send it my way, I'll turn it into a reel. So it's really that like close communication that's necessary. Whereas with myself, and my industry is different, so my process is just different. And that's, I guess, kind of a big reason why I'm doing this course, to coach people and help them learn how to do it themselves.
Okay.
Now, some people just like are never going to want to do it themselves. Like, a lot of people I work with are teams, and it just makes sense for them to contract that out. And I'm happy to work with them. Like, I'm so grateful for how close I am with my clients.
Right.
But there's some people where it just makes a lot more sense for them to do it themselves, because they're the experts. They're the ones who are on the scenes. They're the ones who are, you know, behind the scenes content is really important, especially for Instagram as we grow to know, like, and trust people we want to work with. It's a great way to teach people more about us and our services. So when you are out and about, you're the one behind the scenes. I can't create that content for you. So again, the course just kind of goes through and teaches people how to take on that process for themselves.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And I think that's super important. It actually kind of leads into the next thing I was going to ask you about, was talk to me about, like, how do I want to word this? Like, talk to me about the importance of being able to create that short form content yourself and being able to create it for other people. Because I think there's, you know, this fine line. I feel like ever since the iPhone came out with, like, the super nice cameras, everybody's like, oh my God, like, I can go film a movie, you know, which technically you can if you want to. But at the same time, I feel like there's an area for professional videographers, photographers, content creators to kind of step in and do their thing. And then I think there's also an area where people can actually whip out their phone and really utilize that, because I personally love my cell phone and the quality of the camera and everything in there. Like, it's making it much more accessible to do these things on the fly and incorporate in a workflow. So how do you utilize that, and how do you encourage your clients, like, shed a little light on that?
Well, that's funny, because you have worked with some of my clients as the professional videographer. And I feel like getting to know you and your services has been really great for me and for my clients now too. So just as an example, I have a real estate team that I work with that just a week or two ago, I went into their office with my tripod and ring light and just busted out my iPhone, and
I think I saw those pop up on social media and I was like, yes, go ahead, Sarah. Like, I was liking every single one of them.
Yeah, you probably did, because it was one of those things where we had all the guys in the office. They were doing lead generation. So I just showed up. We had topics we knew we wanted to talk about. And me being there just helped ensure that it got done, kept us on track. And now I have all those videos that even though this was a couple weeks ago, I still have a couple banked to be sharing in the following weeks and scheduled out. So those we're using as reels on Instagram. So they're Instagram reels and they live in the feed. So that's providing great content there. And I don't want to diminish the importance of social media and being consistent. I just feel like that content is the more relatable, laid back. It doesn't have to be super polished. I can shoot it on my iPhone. Whereas we had a client event back in November that you came and you shot a great, like, beautiful overview of the client event. And that was something that we wanted it to be polished to really show what these events are all about, how much we appreciate our clients. And that was something that we had you come in to do. Because again, we just wanted it to be more professional.
Yeah, I think that's a great kind of, like, overview in terms of providing insight in that field. A lot of people, like, and the main reason for kind of going over that question in the first place is, like, to shed a little bit more light on, like, hey, like, it's a balance, you know, like, it really depends on the purpose of the content. So if you're looking to create stuff on a frequent basis, you know, and make sure that you're keeping a solid social media footprint and you're staying relevant to your people or something like that, and it is that small form content, more power to you. Definitely, like, we want you to try and learn these things for creating the quick little bits with your cell phone and stuff. And, you know, if you're out in the field, like Sarah mentioned, like, you're the one who's got boots on the ground. You're the one who's going to be the most involved in the operation most of the time. So you're going to know some of the best things to make as short form content. So it's important that you know this skill set and that you're able to incorporate it into a workflow. the utilization of it in terms of, you know, working with someone like Sarah who can be a master at distributing it or just putting it on there is also a super important aspect as well. So I think that's all great points. I think you did a great job in terms of like discussing that. And I guess if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'll make sure to put our handles and all that stuff in the description or in the comment section, wherever it is that this is going to be, you know, living on. Probably a whole bunch of social media platforms, knowing the two of us. But yeah, I'll make sure to put that information. So if you guys do have questions, you can hit up Sarah, you can hit up me. We'll be happy to help you out in whatever way we can.